as a featured expert for the 2015 year and will focus on single parenting with special needs. Christie enjoys writing, teaching, and speaking. Her writing has been featured internationally through her founding of the Redeeming Red World Dyslexia Day through that campaign. She's a graduate of Troy University. She dreams of Roundtable Solutions, being a vessel to teach, bless, and celebrate a community of exceptional learners, both students and educators. Of her priorities, Ms. Aitken ranks them first God, then family. After that, anything that honors Him and blesses them. She is the parent of two amazing boys, Bo and Drake. It is her belief that her life's greatest work will take place through the honor of being their mother. Please join me in welcoming Christie Aitken.
Thank you, Gladys. First, I want to introduce the co-founder of Roundtable Solutions, and I'm going to try not to squeak that much. I'm so sorry. This is Bo Terry, and you guys have read about him. Some of you know him personally, but I tell you what, yeah, absolutely. The night that we drove around this tower, and it was the night they were having World Autism Day, and this was long before anyone was saying the word dyslexia around here. I called it the D word because no one would say it. It would be, oh, he has a reading struggle. But, no, my child had dyslexia. And we drove around this tower, and it was beautifully blue, and we talked about how they were celebrating my youngest child and how they were celebrating his superpower, autism, and he was too overstimulated to get out of the car. So we drove around, and that's how we participated. God just encouraged us to be present, to be in those moments. And Bo looked at me, and he said, when are they going to celebrate me and my dyslexia? And, that wasn't a selfish statement by him. That was like, when's it going to be the turn of the 1 in 5? And I think that's critical to know. So, Bo, I'm going to thank you. I'm going to let you go play and hang out with the 1 in 5. We appreciate you and we love you, man. That's the future of this thing right here. And Drake is my little guy. And like I said, he has an autism diagnosis. And early on when we started this, I first thought God was calling us to just do dyslexia, to just get some tutoring out there, to get some teacher training, and to just be the change for that. And a friend of mine, my best friend, her child has Langer-Gideon syndrome, and she said, but what about them? What about these other guys? What about these other kids that need tutoring and these families that need solutions? And so I think it's imperative that the dyslexia community know where we've felt alone sometimes, and we're, thank God, we no longer feel that way. We have each other. But there's a whole community out there of special education needs that are feeling the same. And so that's the goal of Roundtable Solutions, is we want to be this to every exceptionality. But we started with dyslexia because the 1 in 5 was the most overlooked. It was the largest statistic that was being overlooked every single day. What would happen is we'd have these really well-intentioned teachers. They want to bridge the gap so badly. And teachers, if you're here and you're hearing this, I want you to know that we know that. And the thing was, is they didn't know how because the training had not been made available. Sometimes it's a financial issue, whatever. But our goal together with Decoding Dyslexia of Alabama is to start bridging that gap. Legislatively, a Roundtable will be a nonprofit. We're going to raise so much money, it's insane, and we're going to bless the socks off the communities that God blesses us to love. So, so it's coming, and I just thank you for seeing that vision. I'll tell you, there's a teacher here locally. Her name is Kelly Fuller, and she could not make it tonight. But she's the example of what I think our parents are longing to see from every teacher. She did not even teach Bo in a classroom environment. She was not his teacher. She's a speech pathologist. But she was the note taker in our IEP meetings. And Kelly was the first teacher ever to get a book on dyslexia. And she emailed me and she said, hey, have you read this book? And it was a book, and I can't remember the name of it now, but it was a book talking about how great his mind was and how it wasn't a deficit, but it was this attribute, and it was this thing where God had hardwired him for greatness. And so her seeing that gave me enough air to go, hey, we're about to celebrate this deal. And so at our house, we wear exceptionalities like a superhero cape. You won't hear us say, oh, he has autism, oh, he has that, because, yeah, we may have these things, but they don't have us. And I think that's critical to know. If you're here and you have a diagnosis of any kind, God may have let that touch your life for a minute, but it doesn't have you unless you allow it to. We're here. We want to help bridge the gap. We want to educate educators. We want to stand with you and do this deal. So you are not alone. So I want everyone to know that. I'll tell you a personal story, and then I'm going to let you go, and we're just going to have a good time. For myself, I was always considered a very good student. People celebrated that I was an A and B girl, I didn't have to try hard, et cetera, et cetera. And that's what it looked like on the surface, is that I didn't have to try hard, that I didn't have to study hard. The deal actually was this, and I can still to this day, I can read you, and I'm just going to sit there now. I can read you something beautifully. And I finished reading and you go, gosh, that was good. She's a good reader. And I am a good reader. But if you ask me what it means, I'm going to look at you with a blank stare like a deer in headlights. I have no idea what I just read. So I basically snowed a system for 12 years of schooling. And I was smart enough to pull it off and muscle through it, but it was very strenuous. It was very hard. Notebook tests. Everybody else is acing them, and I'm like, oh my goodness, where is that page? Because I put it somewhere else. It's a word disorder. It's an executive functioning disorder. I mean, it was all there. So I found out at the age of 38 that I actually do have dyslexia myself. And people say, oh my goodness, but you're a writer. And there's some great writers that have dyslexia. So I say that to say this. Don't discount the students around you. If they're struggling and they look stressed out, there's probably a reason. And so what I want to encourage Alabama to do is dig deeper. Teachers in your classroom, I want you to dig beyond the surface. Great student, absolutely. Are they stressed out all the time? Let's look a little more at that. Struggling readers. We have a lot of struggling readers with dyslexia. Let's look more into that. Class clown. A lot of times kids are acting out because I would rather get in trouble for acting out than I would you make me to read this in front of my class or call on me to ask a question, to answer a question, because the minute you call on me, there's a whole part of my brain that shuts down and gets scared. It's kind of that fight or flight thing. And when that happens, there's no learning that's going to take place. Anything I knew just left the building. So those are the kind of things. I just wanted to give you a surface awareness of this. There's so much more to learn, and we're going to have fun while we do this. Because if the journey's not fun, we're not going, you know? And so we're going to have fun while we learn about this stuff. I want you to go find the page at Decoding Dyslexia of Alabama. I'm going to stay over here. I want you to find that page and go like that page because they are doing amazing research. They have been doing this legislation thing a long time before we came on board, but they have graciously allowed us to step in the fold because we want the same things. We want teacher training. We want to define dyslexia. In black and white terms, say, what does this mean to Alabama? We want evaluations. We want a lot of the same stuff. And, you know, because what works to teach our kids with dyslexia, guess what? It works to teach every traditional student as well. So we have right now our statistics, and I'll leave you with this because I think it's quite telling. Our statistics are this. 1 in 5 have dyslexia. Roughly 40 and upwards of 40%, 48% of our prisoners have dyslexia. Okay, so they've got this heavy prison statistic over here. Over here we have our entrepreneurs. It's right at 40% of our entrepreneurs are dyslexic. So there's this gap, okay? And we're filling up our prisons and we're filling up our businesses. Great minds on both sides, but somewhere we've lost them. And that's the spot we want to fill, is the place where we've lost them. We want to bridge that gap, and we can do it, guys. So I want you to be thinking about it. I want you to go like these Facebook pages. Get engaged with us, whether you want to just volunteer to hand out papers, if you want to help us, whatever your gift, talent, passion is, we can find a place for you. And we're just glad you're here. I want you to go see our sponsors, our vendors around here. We've got barbecue, cotton candy. The Boy Scouts are here. And y'all, they have collected over 100 books and donated it to a local library. Y'all give them a hand for that. That's amazing. And the kicker with that is we realize, like, books are hard for our kids sometimes, but they're not hard when you have an engaged community member who goes to that library and sits with these kids and reads with them. Because once we get that calm factor created, reading's kind of awesome and they start loving it. So we want to encourage you to volunteer at your local libraries. The Scouts also have a magazine that has a whole section done by a dyslexic student. So make sure you get one of those before you leave. There's so many of those, and they're free for you. Make sure you've registered. We've got our characters from the Party Palace here. Get your pictures made with them. They are just amazing. Everyone here has volunteered their time, passion, talents, energy, dollars. This has all been pulled off completely free because of our sponsors and our vendors. We have some drawings that will be going on tonight before we leave, so don't leave us before the end. We'll be drawing for Rossbridge golf tickets. So do I have any golfers in the crowd? Any golfers? Okay, you're being quiet, but I know you're out there. So anyway, we might do that tonight, or we might do it online so we can get more of our golfers in the mix. But we have some of those. We have a $50 gift card that we will be drawing for tonight before we leave, so hang out with us. And then we have in his name designs. Brandy Rowe is an artist, local artist. She's her second year donating a piece to us. It's a beautiful cross picture. She's got a verse on it. It's just exceptional. We will actually be auctioning that off online, and we will use the proceeds actually this year to go towards our nonprofit effort and to help pull off things like this and to start filing this paperwork and getting this thing done, guys, because we're ready to raise some money and bless some families. So, oh yeah, here, and Brandy's going to bring me this piece. And I don't know if you can see it from here. Go see her before you leave, but this is the cross piece she did just for this event, and just an exceptional talent. Y'all give her a hand. And so Jimbo's Barbecue, y'all, that was a 12 o'clock midnight Facebook post. Hey, how can I help? I'll just come serve some barbecue. I mean, how amazing is that? So y'all go see him. It is insanely good. That was my dinner, and wow. And there's just so much more. Patrick Aitken is our photographer. He is around getting just awesome video footage and pictures. Make sure you're on Facebook to check that out. And I can't see, so I feel like I'm missing someone. The Brew Tech cheerleaders, y'all, I met them through Miracle League, and that is the most giving group of young women I have ever met in my life. Just amazing. Coach McCrary has done such a beautiful job with them, teaching them. I mean, they are service defined, and so we're just thankful for them that they not only show up here, but they show up at Miracle League, and they're buddies, and they're doing all these things, and they're invested in the youth of today, and they are the youth of today. So we want to raise up world changers just like that. And these Boy Scouts were another example of the same. Creative Moments. Kim Hall has done all of this decor. She does it every year. She doesn't charge us a dime. She volunteers her time, effort. She is amazing, people. So y'all give her a hand. And she fought the winds tonight to do it. I mean, we prayed that wind away. So anyway, but go around. Make sure you see everybody. We're going to do our drawing in just a little bit. We're going to have some music. We're going to admire this tower. And I want to meet you. So come visit. Meet Ramona, the Decoding Dyslexia team. They are phenomenal. You need to know these people. And so make sure you're meeting them. And I'll be back up here in a few minutes, and we will give away some stuff. So thank you.